This is Margaret Lee, Special People and Places, and today I am with a very special person at a very special place. This is Mr. Don Early, owner of Alabama Cable Network, and he's got something exciting going on in Sumiton. Don, when did you start bringing these trains in here?
I bought some of these trains in 95 and 96, and some of the cabooses I moved down at Petey Hamilton's old place across from Walmart back in 97 and 98. And then when I got the big cars that weigh so much and cost so much to move, I decided the best thing to do with that would be to buy my own property. So I found this property over here and bought it to set up my railroad museum.
Now, did you build the chapel before you started collecting trains?
I was bringing the trains in. It was Susie's idea. She said I was having too much fun with train cars, so she wanted some way to help pay for the place, so she built the chapel. Susie built the wedding chapel, and we used some of the train cars for receptions. When they'd get married in the chapel, they'd go into the train cars and have the receptions. And we had a kitchen car and a dining car, and it was really nice. They did a great job. Her and Wanda Carmichael did most of the work for that. And when Quarter X came through and stopped the traffic, the wedding's pretty well dried up because she was marrying people from Missouri and Oklahoma and Minnesota, everywhere. That this was the main drag from down through Memphis.
Oh, I see. People would be passing this place,
and they'd see it and they'd call, and she'd set up the chapel. And then after that quit, we turned this into the studio for Alabama Cable Network.
But something really exciting is going on today.
Well, there's a gentleman named Mark Gold that has purchased some of these train cars. He's a guy from Canada, and he owns several business entities all over the place. And he bought the shopping center at Crestwood, the festival, and built it and got it, doing a lot of work. Then he's bought the one over on I-20 right there at Irondale. It's the one where Sam's and Southeastern Salvage and everything is. It's Garden Ridge. And he's moving these trains over there. It's going to be very unique. He's got ideas just like I did when I moved them in here. And the thing that made it work is I built a museum car here. Really it was for my dad, even though he didn't get to live to see it. His uniforms and watches and lanterns and everything was in it. And so it's going to be moved over there, and the city of Irondale is going to operate it and maintain it. It's going to be E.J. Early Southern Railroad Memorial Museum, which I think is wonderful, and it'll be for posterity. And I was wondering what would happen to it after I died. I figured there'd be a big railroad auction over here one day, but we're going to go ahead and take care of it before that happens.
God made it happen, didn't he?
Well, he always has for everything I've done. It's been an amazing trip, an amazing journey, and I love every minute of it. But I'm as anxious to get these things moved now as I was to bring them in here.
Oh, that's exciting. Now, you brought them in the early 90s?
No, I bought them in 98 and 99. We brought the last car, which was the engine. We brought it in here in 99. So it's been about 14 years.
Well, everyone's enjoyed seeing them here, and it's exciting because now more people will see them.
It's right off the interstate. In fact, where they're going to be sitting, you can see them from the interstate.
Fabulous.
They're putting restaurants and all kind of businesses in the cars. The only one I'm keeping is the stainless steel car out front. It's an old sleeper car, and we're going to maintain it here and build a depot over here by it. So I still have some railroad stuff because I worked 28 years on the Frisco, and my dad worked 40 years on the Southern. So it's always been a railroad family.
Oh, it has, but my goodness, when you went on, you just left that behind and went into something new.
Yeah, I love the television business. In fact, I had to quit my job with the railroad because my hobby got in the way of my job. So I quit in 87 or 88. I can't remember. I believe it was 87 or 88. Got in the television business full time, and that's all that's happened since then. We're going to redo the engine, and we were going to put it back its original Pennsylvania color, but now because it's going over to Irondale, we're going to paint it Southern green and put the Southern logos and everything on it.
Oh, okay.
It'll be a Southern Railroad museum.
Well, and
all these cars are Southern, with the exception of the engine, so that's why we're going to do it Southern Railroad.
Well, and your father was with Southern Railroad.
That's what I'm saying. He worked for 40 years.
And it's going to be a museum.
Named after him. Mm-hmm. I love that part.
Oh, I do too. It'll be named Early.
That's right, E.J. Early, Southern Railroad Memorial Museum.
Can't wait to see it in place. I think it's a God thing, and like you said earlier, now you don't have to leave the burden of upkeep on your children.
Well, you know, it's what's going to be here then will be very easy to maintain, and what was here before was not. So this will work out good.
And it was a massive job. Let's take a look at some of the footage, the video showing the actual move from Sumiton to Irondale. just heard from Charlie and Yvonne Watts up in Sumiton, and the engine is on its way to this site right now, being escorted by the Irondale police. And apparently, to move these, they have taken off the wheels and put regular tires on it so they can roll. And that is the way that these two were moved from Sumiton. The wheels have not been put back on this passenger car yet. They took off the regular wheels. They have them on the tracks, and they will have to lift this passenger train car back onto those wheels. I know people around Sumiton are going to be missing these train cars, and there will be a museum here, and the exciting part where Don is, it's going to be named in honor of his father. He was the railroad man. We are down in Irondale, Alabama. We're coming down to check out the progress on that whole railroad train that Don Early has sold to the gentleman that's developing the shopping center here. And we noticed right away that there is a new sign, and if you'll take a look up there, it says Grants Mill Station. And also the banner at the top of the hill says, after 90 plus years, a part of Irondale's history pulls into the station at Grants Mill. So we want to go up and check out the progress. Don Early said that the railroad cars are being painted, so we're anxious to see those. The entire train is on its proper wheels and on the rail bed. Now, when we were here a little more than a month ago, February 28th, the rail cars were not on their proper wheels. Now, the difference, they are starting to paint the cars. Look at that. Look at the Southern. Just looking good. They're really coming along with it for a little more than 3 weeks' time. This is incredible. And I did not remember when Don Early had his train in Sumiton, I didn't recall that the caboose had the cupola on top. I love the cupola. When Nauvoo Historical Society was getting their caboose, we were asking for a donation from Norfolk Southern, and at the time I had requested, as part of the Historical Society on the board, I was requesting a cupola on top of our caboose. And he said at the time, he said, "Oh, I suppose you would like brass fittings too." And I said, "Oh, that would be nice." And at the time, I didn't realize that he was kidding around, that we weren't going to be getting a cupola on top. Apparently, those are hard to find. Now you see the scaffolding is still up on this side where they are painting, and they're going to be putting Southern on all the cars, the railroad cars. Let's go down to the other end and check out the engine now and see what's going to be done on that. It is in place. We understand next week the paint process will be started on the engine, so we will be back to check the progress, and of course, looking forward to the grand opening. Well, we're in Irondale and turned around and look who's here. Don Early. You just can't stay away from your train.
I can't stay away from them, no.
Well, what do you think about the paint job?
Well, I'm not really happy with the green paint job.
Really?
Because it just needs to be solid green. But they want it to show up from the interstate, so they put that other color on there. It looks like an old 1800s color.
Don, tell us a little bit about the engine. I understand that's to be painted next week, maybe.
Well, this is Sunday, and they were supposed to be here today. And they broke down, the guys that's doing it's coming out of Missouri, and they broke down in Memphis. And they'll be down here sometime tomorrow afternoon, which will be Monday. And it'll take them about a week to do all the body work and get everything ready to paint the engine. It'll be southern green. We're going to paint it with the southern green and white, the livery colors and everything.
All right. Well, I had that wrong. I thought your father was with Frisco.
No, I worked for Frisco. My dad worked for the Southern.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He was a conductor, and I worked in the depots. I used to work in Jasper. I worked everywhere from Memphis all the way down to Pensacola, Florida. His track that he used to run on was from Chattanooga and Meridian. He worked from Chattanooga, Tennessee to Meridian, Mississippi.
As a conductor?
Yeah, he came through Birmingham. He worked out of Irondale yards here, too, when he worked the freight trains.
Oh, my gosh. Lots of memories.
It really is. It seems like it was another lifetime ago.
It was, but it's so nice of you to let them have this, and what a wonderful...
Well, they're doing a good job. Mark Gold's the guy that bought it, and he's a forward-thinking guy, and he wants to do a lot of things. All the buildings around here are going to look like old depots. They're going to be old clocks and pretty lights and things on them, and they're going to extend the awnings out and have places for people to sit and be able to eat and everything around here.
And enjoy this railroad train. I know you're so pleased to have it come to a nice end like this.
Because where it was, it was hidden. It was all right back before Quarter X came through, because I had people from all over the world look at the cars. Because if I opened the gates back before Quarter X, it was going to be covered up with people, and I'd just take them around and show them, because that's what I did it for. But over here now, they'll be able to see it a lot more, because you can actually see the cars from I-20.
That's right.
You can see them from I-20. I looked up here the other day, and there they were.
All right, Don. Again, this is the passenger train here. Right behind.
Yeah, that's the passenger coach. Okay. That was a coach, and that's I don't know what they'll put in there. It'll be a business of some kind, but that was the coach. And then they had the baggage car that we turned into a kitchen that Susie and I did, and then the engine, and then the caboose. I kept the sleeper car. I kept the stainless steel car in Sumiton.
Couldn't give that one up.
I had to have one.
Don, have they given you a date yet, the target date that this will be open?
They think about 2 months. That's the goal, is to have it open in 2 months. And we should have the rest of the paint work done within another week from now. But what they're going to do, and they've cut a door in the side of the engine on the other side, because they got to make it all handicap accessible. So they've actually cut a pretty good sized door on the other side of the engine so they could actually get people through it. So I don't know what they're going to plan. I don't think they know yet exactly what businesses are going to be in these cars, but they'll be pretty diversified.
Well, the main thing is your father's going to be honored.
Yeah, he will be. They want to keep a lot of his stuff, and exactly where all this is going, they're going to have artifacts in all these buildings and all these businesses around. It'll be a museum in its entirety. You go into some of the food stores and you see all the old stuff up on the walls. A lot of that will be up there, but where we're going to put my dad's stuff out is still yet to be determined.
Oh, but how wonderful. I know you are. This is a thrill for you. It has to be. Oh, Don, this is a thrill to see this, and I hope your dad is looking down.
He is. Looking at his cousin, too.
Oh, my. It is a thrill. So Mr. Elbert J. Early, or E.J. Early,
that's what they call
as he was known in his career on this railroad. He walked many miles on that car, didn't he?
He sure did.
Don and Susie Early built the chapel in 1981, and it was for weddings. And Susie did that for a few years, and then eventually they brought the television studio headquarters here. So now it's the Union Station Complex. And it was a few years later, I believe, that they started putting the train in here. But Charlie and Yvonne have helped.
We have come by and watched it take place.
We've kind of joined the mourners, those who hated to see the trains go. We're happy that they're going to a great new home and will be taken care of real well, but we're going to miss them. But the chapel is here, and now it's a television studio, and a nice one.
Very nice. We've been in it, and it's an asset to this part of the county.
Oh, it is, but I know people are missing that the train being gone. It was part of the landscape for sure, wasn't it, Charlie?
Well, and my understanding is that Don's retaining one of the cars here. I'm not sure what his plans are for it, but the stainless steel dining car up on the other end of the lot here is still here, and I understand will remain here for a while.
Well, for sure, Don will be adding to the complex, even though the locals might be missing that, all the train cars. They are in a great home down in Irondale, exciting things going on down there, as you can see. But just stay tuned, because Don is always doing things. I think he's contemplating adding a train station here, building a train station. Just stay tuned, because we're going to be adding to it, aren't we, Charlie, going down to Irondale.
For the grand opening of the early train, I guess they call it a station, or what do they call it? But whatever, they named it after Don's father, I understand, who was a railroad man, and Don himself was a railroad man. And so I understand the connection there now, and we look forward to the opening of the place in Irondale and the new train that we'll see there.
It all refurbished, and it's going to be great to be able to see the complex down there.